dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to DARYA project for for considering my author's methodology. The content of my presentation is based on my own experience so that the major provisions of it are clarified, and also the importance of the developing professional qualifications for the employers, for the businesses, for motivation, and for the lifelong, development and training. I'm an expert in the area of the qualification system, have been working as part of the national company Kazakhstan and have 20 years of practical experience as HR manager. Please, the next slide. The experience of developing the methodical approaches to professional standards has got its own history, and it started in 2008 when there was the end of the courses of the European, on the side of the EU. I was very much impressed by the practical application of the professional standards. That's why, together with my colleagues, we decided to work on it, considering the gas and oil extraction area. I am of the opinion that our experience might be of interest because of certain aspects. First of all, because it speaks about initiative on the side of the employers, also of the high level of the pilot project at the level of the government. Also, this has been acknowledged by international experts of the EU and international consulting companies, supported by trade unions and approved by big oil companies. And also probation or testing has been conducted and is considered as an innovative. So there have been awards as the best HR project. As for the methodology before 2008 is a consistent structured description of different areas and types of professional activities to define key professions and qualification requirement. And this approach has got very simple format. But during the period of 2019 to 2020, this methodology has been revised because of the latest trend and is competency-based and has got more complicated format. The next slide, please. On this slide, you can see the key provisions of this methodology. The aim of it is just developing a system of sectoral professional competences that is forming the productional behavior in combination with the professional knowledge, skills, and businesses.
And also approach was developed using the best international practices, but not a copy, no paste and copy. But there is an element of novelty in existing methods and the details. For example, the function analysis was interpreted and presented as a hierarchy scheme of the map of business processes and allows visually to see, but also to systemize all businesses processes in specific professional area, and also to identify the nature of emerging of each the labor function and to show each business processes. Another interpretation, it is the competence-based approach. The novelty is that the structure, the competences, and the model of competence was established for the whole area of professional activity, occupational, using map and ID of competences, as the previous colleagues from France mentioned. And the key principle of methodology is in phase-based algorithm, the interlink of between each section, as you see of this phase-based algorithm. And this map and matrix of business processes, they are the key tools for further formation of different forms, knowledge metrics, the professional occupational map, and passport of competences, and allow to see all the labor functions, to identify knowledge skills for each working function, and to assess the level of qualification, to classify competences by categories and level of qualification, and finally to develop map and a profile of occupation with exhausted information. And this approach allows to make relevant each area of professional activity, to identify key professions and their qualification characteristics. And this slide presents analysis of existing and also approaches. And the differences I showed already, the basis of development in the current occupation standard, it is the general classificator of type of economic activity. In author approach, it is a function analysis in area of occupational activity. The consequence of development also different. In the current, it is NRK, ORCA, and professional standard, occupational standard. And I propose NRK, occupational standard, and ORCA. And the key characteristics of occupational standards in the current labor or working functions, objective skills, level of qualification, requirement to personal competences. And in the OSA approach, the key characteristics of occupation standard, the map of business processes, metrics of knowledge, map and the ID of occupational competences, the map of professions and profile of professions. And all the differences are reflected in the concept professional standard, occupational standard. The current, it is a written official document which set the general requirements to knowledge, skills, and experience of work, considering formal or non-formal or informal education, level qualification, and competences. The content, quality, and the working conditions and specific professional activity. In my understanding, occupational standard, it is a structural description of qualification requirements to the content and conditions of work, and also formation of the list of competences required to implement labor functions defined as a result of labor sharing, the composition of the specific business process. Approbation, the piloting of the methodology took place in KNG engineering. It is infrastructure organization in terms of development of engineering technical solutions for Kazmunaygas, the gas, oil and gas company. And they used how to work with drills, wells, management. And this process is very important when the oil is mined, and show calculation of effective use of capacity of the drills. And not all the companies participated in the company pay attention to this process. And before piloting, analytical work was done of two aspects. What is the current situation in organization of this process, like the drill stock management, in order to identify the participation of key positions involved in this business process. And data we received were not homogeneous, different, because the professional the skills, they from 17 to 37 points. And there are many overlapping of functions without differentiation of the qualification. There is no common approach for qualification requirements. Results of analysis confirmed the relevance of a selected piloted area. For implementation of the project, the working group was set up with duties, responsibilities, and roles sharing. The leading role was given to functional leaders, experts. The roadmap was developed and phase-based project implementation. During the piloting, the whole algorithm of development of occupational standards was passed, and they showed the consistent logic, the interconnection of all phases of its building. Besides, in addition, we would like to say that the most complex and thoroughly responsible work was to develop map of business processes based on function analysis. And at the same time, again, our experts highlighted that the properly built system map meets the following phases of design: the matrix of knowledge, to identify the qualification level, and then to form map and profile of positions. The final result outcome is the profile of profession was formed. The question was asked, what does it mean profile? Profile is and I see profile in such way. It is a thoroughly detailed description of the position, regardless at what qualification level this or other occupation is. The format of profile is identified based on key qualification characteristics, structured and contains description of required qualification requirements. It is like classical requirement to occupational education and also considering characteristics depending on place of work, age, the medical restrictions, health restrictions, age, and access to work, a permit to work. And another important indicator in this format is it is innovation. It is a level of involvement of this profession occupation in business process with a list of key function duties, and in such way we identify role and responsibilities criteria of a qualitative implementation of work for this occupation. Besides, specific level which is required of competences was defined business equality for implementation of specific process, and this position is engaged, and it is the full exhausted information on each occupation included. It could be included in qualification guidelines, and it can play decisive role when the occupations will be tariffs will be developed, and it will be very relevant for Kazakhstan to build the system of pay based on sectors. The concept of education, the adult education, my vision, a continuous adult education to be trained on continuous basis, education and changes which happen in external world, they have impact on business, affect business, and so it is important to consider all changes, technology of organization, automation, and in its turn, it has effect on update on the upgrade of the competences, and the proposed model the of competences is like navigator for development of occupational competences, including formal, non-formal, and informal, and it will facilitate the development of the model programs of training. And every model, each module is it is specific level of competence. Introduction of the module technology of education, when the course of module education is composed of relation or theory, gaining theory, practical training, and training, learning on job. And it will require quality changes not only within system of education, but also for certification and verification of this profession based on principles of access and promotion from and the transition from one level to another level qualification. And using these principles, the consistent professional career is developed on merit, based on merits, and it motivates staff to train during the whole life, lifelong learning. And as you see on this slide, development of the module, as development of the module and the testing system and plan of career growth, promotion, professional standard is incorporated. And as it was mentioned earlier, the most important and relevant is a practical use of occupational standards. So we put the goal to pilot opportunities to use these occupational standards. And we succeeded. We managed when we plan labor resources, when we develop the model-based program of education and multimedia, and to build the testing system and assessment of professional knowledge, the development of career the way and a new approach to pay. And this slide shows on which big companies all of these pilot took place. So opportunities of practical use of professional standard is brought, and they will help to build a clear regulation and standardization, and it will help to make quality education based on level of qualification, not in general, but for each level of qualification, considering in assessment, rewarding, and promotion by the level qualification. Also, this approach allows to transform and integrate main HR processes of the staff, and in its turn it will change the procedure of recruitment, assessment of competence, performance, and will help to form individual training programs for training development and to see what will be the next way of career promotion. Dear colleagues, today I would like to use this opportunity. I tried to explain you briefly about my experience in development and practical use of occupational standards, and therefore they will help to address existing problems in qualification system. So I propose to consider alternative methodological developments of occupational standard within Project DARYA implementation, and to continue work we launched on implementation of the project using as a case international cargo shipment. This activity is not only relevant for Kazakhstan, but for all countries of Central Asia to have a piloting and to get a pilot status of the project. For implementation of this project, we need required conditions, support of DARYA, participants of Central Asian countries, direct interest of all actors, participants from employers, training organizations and centers, qualification confirmation, financing of the project, because my previous experience shows it is a complex and thoroughly work, and for motivation of the participants, it is necessary to pay wages. salary. And another key point, participation of key experts with excellent knowledge of business processes of profile area. And such collective labor or efforts will allow to form a completely new approach of building of sectoral system of qualification based on partnership of Central Asian countries, and will find a further practical implication in organizations of employees, training organization and centers conforming qualification in Central Asia country. And I try to be in time and to have more time for questions and answers. Thank you.